Hello, this is Mark Satterfield, and welcome to the Velvet Rope Playbook. Tonight's chapter, The Suit That Said Everything, Selling to the Wealthy Without Saying a Word. It started with a handshake in a suite at the Park Hyatt Tokyo. Not a boardroom, not a pitch meeting, just a quiet moment between two men who knew how the game was played. The buyer was a soft-spoken Singaporean financier. He barely said 10 words the entire meeting, but when he stood, looked in the mirror, and buttoned the jacket of the navy three-piece suit that had just been delivered, the deal was already done. That suit, it cost $100,000. Made by a discreet tailor in Paris who doesn't advertise. No storefront, no website, no logo, only a waiting list, only referrals. The fabric, a cashmere blend. The lining, custom silk dyed with a family crest. The buttons, hand-forged platinum. But that's not what made it valuable. What made that suit valuable, what made the banker agree to a $20 million investment deal 15 minutes later is what it signaled. Because in the world of high net worth individuals, suits aren't just clothing, they're code. And if you want to attract wealthy clients, you don't need to start sewing garments, but you do need to understand what the world's most expensive suits teach us about selling to the elite. Look, if you want to help putting this into action, check out getwealthyclients.com. When you're there, you'll find my #1 best-selling book, The Affluent Marketing Blueprint, plus training programs to help you implement a high-status client acquisition system that works without chasing leads or discounting your expertise. That's getwealthyclients.com. But now let me take you deeper into this world. His name is whispered in Dubai. His clients include royalty, billionaires, and the occasional discreet head of state. But he doesn't show up online. In fact, if you search his name, you'll find an unrelated auto mechanic in the Bronx. That's intentional. He meets clients in hotel suites or on private yachts, carries his tools in an antique leather case, takes 42 measurements, and never speaks first. One client described him as a tailor who behaves more like a consigliere. There's no menu, no brochure, just an understanding. If you're here, you belong. Now let's pause there, because if you're selling professional services, especially to the affluent, this is your playbook. Don't list every feature, don't oversell, don't make it feel like you're available to everyone. Instead, signal status by inviting the right clients in quietly. Make your process feel rare, selective, and personal. Your website, your intake flow, your materials, they should all say, this isn't for everyone, but it might be for you. A few years ago, I shadowed a luxury tailor from Brioni during a fitting in Monte Carlo. The client was a hedge fund principal, mid-40s, casually dressed in knitwear, sitting espresso while overlooking the port. The tailor arrived with 3 things. 1, a dark cedar garment case. 2, a handwritten dossier detailing the client's past fits and preferences. 3, a velvet pouch containing sample buttons curved from antique horn. For 90 minutes, they didn't talk about the suit. They talked about horses, about restaurants in Postano, about the air quality in different parts of the Alps. Only at the end, when the final sleeve was pinned, did the tailor say softly, I've taken the liberty of preparing a dinner jacket as well. No charge unless it sings. It did. That's the art of the invisible close. No pressure, no discount, no urgency. Just the assumption that the client would say yes, because saying no would disrupt the harmony already in motion. And that's how you need to operate if you want to sell to the elite. Don't chase. Instead, construct experiences so tailored, so elegant, so appropriate for your ideal client that purchasing from you feels inevitable. And if you're tired of pitching and if you're ready to start attracting wealthy clients with precision, well, then go to getwealthyclients.com. I'll walk you through how to create a velvet rope marketing system that makes the right buyers come to you. That's getwealthyclients.com. Well, let's go back to Tokyo. The man in the suite, the one who bought the $100,000 suit, he wore it exactly once to a black tie charity event at a private art foundation in Kyoto, and then he gave it away. Not to a friend, not to a family member, he gave it back to the tailor. Why? Because the suit wasn't about fashion. It was about the gesture. It was a statement to himself and to the room that he could. That's the last lesson here. In luxury markets, the purchase is often symbolic. People don't buy the best suit or the best house or the best service provider. They buy what represents the life they've created or the one they want to live. They buy status, ease, legacy. They buy stories. If your branding, your offers, your pitch, if it all focuses only on the deliverables, well, you're missing the point. You're speaking the language of logic to an audience fluent in symbolism. You don't need gold thread or high-end wool, but you do need a message that makes your client feel like the best version of themselves when they buy from you. Not smarter, not richer, just more. The most expensive suits in the world aren't mass-produced. They aren't found on sale racks, and they're rarely bought by people looking for value. They're bought by people who already have everything and are now looking for meaning in what they choose. That's the real insight. When you shift from pitching services to offering status, trust, and belonging, everything changes. You become magnetic. You become essential. You become the one they quietly whisper about at rooftop dinners and golf club luncheons. And that's where you want to be. Look, if this resonated with you and you want to build a business that sells like that suit without hype or hassle, then you need to head over to getwealthyclients.com, where you can get your copy of the Affluent Marketing Blueprint. Watch the trainings, implement the system. You're ready. Now, make sure your marketing is too. This is Mark Satterfield. Thanks for listening to this chapter of the Velvet Rope Playbook. I'll be back at you soon with something new, but until then, bye for now.